Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from my side. It's an honor for me to be able to be with all of you in this session 583 in this your home, our home, sharEvery Global Foundation. Today, we will have a weekly class with a topic that I really like because I love the emotional intelligence. And this topic will be in the hands of a very beautiful person. I am sure that this session will be very nutritious for all of us. And now I would like to invite our beautiful and professional prime mover of this session. She is Vani Ray from India. I leave this space on your hands, beautiful woman. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Yuri. Hi, greetings to one and all. I'm Coach Vanishri, a proud SHAREvery from Bangalore, India. Welcome you all for the advanced meeting 583. I would like to share a quote of Martin Luther King. We may have all come on different ships, but we are in the same boat now. You will understand why I use this quotation. I take the privilege to introduce and welcome our guest speaker, Coach SHIYAMA MARIKKAR, BSc MD, originally from Sri Lanka and currently based in Oman. She is a teacher, trainer, and a founder of Mind Faculty. She is an internationally certified trainer, skills development facilitator, NLP master practitioner. She is known for the passion for speaking and training. She enjoys assisting individuals and companies of all sizes in achieving sustainable transformations. She is recognized as the most outstanding transformational educator by International Organization of Educators and Researchers in May 2024. At present, she serves as the country director of Sultanate of Oman for International Perception Researchers Hub. With over 10 years of experience in private school in Oman, Sharma has specialized in teaching science and math to multinational students. She is currently employed at Smart Student School in Muscat. Sharma is dedicated to helping individuals unlock their potential and collaborates with entrepreneurs, multinational corporators, universities, and government private organizations. We would like to welcome with a very heartful gratitude, and we are waiting to hear from you, Shyama. Over to you, Coach.
Thank you very much, Coach Vani, for that wonderful introduction, and very good evening to all the panelists and guests and founder of sharEvery, Coach Rambabu, and everyone. It's my great pleasure and honor to be part of today's meeting and to share my expertise and knowledge on the topic of emotional intelligence. And so today, as Coach Vani very beautifully started with a beautiful quote about Martin Luther King. Yes, I am also an admirer of him. So let me start a conversation with him. And you all know he's a legendary person. And we all acknowledged, or we all have heard about his life story and how he impacted the world positively amidst the challenges. So he is an example of a highly emotional, intelligent leader who lived in this world and changed the world for the better. And with this type of skills, we say a magical skill, it enhances or it creates unlimited possibilities in work environment. But unfortunately, today you all know that we talk about the negative working environment. We hardly speak about inspirational and positive working environment. Why is that? Because it hurts us. The negative things hurts us so much. So we are all nagging. Sometimes we complain. Sometimes we are trying to do some things, but still we cannot come out of that stress. So we suffer a lot, right? So let's talk about it. Why these some people like Martin Luther King. And there's another person I can say from history, a person who was in the jail or in this prison for almost 27 years. Everyone hated him. No one was able to understand his concepts, theory, what he's trying to say to the world. Everyone was against him, was able to hold on to his vision and able to show people, convince people to see his vision and try to follow him. And he worked hard. I am sure you all know about him, right? Anyone in the audience? Can you name him?
Nelson Mandela.
Yes, thank you very much, Neelu ma'am. Yes, exactly. So he was a legendary person and he has made a tremendous things to the world, the change to the world. So these leaders had this character, the magical character is emotional intelligence. So today, let's look at that, how to improve as leaders. We are leaders, all are leaders, right? So how we can improve this trait in us. So today's my topic is leading with emotional intelligence. How to deal, how to develop this emotional intelligence. So first, I will be looking at, first look at the agenda. We will be talking about the introduction and what is emotional intelligence or EQ, and then what is the difference between EQ, and then what are the components, core components of EQ, and next the importance of EQ in leadership, and then finally we will come to a conclusion from drawing all of from this presentation. First and foremost, yes, the introduction part. What is it? What is it? EQ means what? Does anyone know the meaning of EQ? Means emotional quotients. So it is an abbreviation or it's an acronym actually. This has long districts. It didn't start from this decade or the previous decade. It has its origin back to early 20th century. And the idea of social intelligence was introduced by psychologist Edward Thorndike. And early as 1920, it was introduced. The concept of emotional intelligence, as we know today, was largely contributed to the work of another three psychologists. They are David R. Caruso, Peter Salovey, and John D. Mayer in the 1990s. After that, they have developed a concept of emotional intelligence and they put a name for it and they have developed assessment tools even for that. So they mention emotional intelligence as four aspects. First one is perceiving, second one is using, and then understanding and managing options. So these are about the four areas they talk about, but it was a well-defined one and it was popular until the last one, the more modified one, came to a picture. This is all the psychologist, another psychologist, Daniel Goleman, developed a model of this emotional intelligence theory, which has 5 components. But basically, based on these things, it was a derived formation or a modification of these 3 psychologists framework. So he mentioned, Daniel Goleman, he mentioned in his book, Emotional Intelligence, why it can matter more than IQ, was published in 1995, and it was very popular at that time, and this concept was taken by all the professionals or educational field, business field, and it became the emotional intelligence part. The theory has become famous because he talked about it in different aspects, personal life, relationship, workplace, and leadership. So it became popular, and now we much prefer the Daniel Goleman's framework. So today I'll be talking about Daniel Goleman's framework on it. Next, what does EQ stand for in business? So what does it really mean? So EQ is an acronym which means emotional quotient. This is a measure of an individual's emotional intelligence. In other words, we say EQ is an indicator how you are able to, or one person able to assess and identify his own feelings and understand them, handle them, and express them in a positive and constructive manner. What does it mean by that? That mean that we have to think about what we are doing all the time? Because as you all know, we have our mind has the power to wander all the time. We won't realize it. Unconsciously, it's keep on thinking. So at times when we are catch up with our things, our work or any other things, situations or conflict situation, we get anger, we get into different moods and our emotions, which we are not aware about. So when we know about it, we know that whether this emotion is suitable for this situation, can I handle it properly, right? So if you're not aware about yourself, you cannot accept yourself to behave well at a given circumstance. So first we have to know about ourselves, our feelings, our thoughts, what's going in our mind, being aware about our own self. So let's talk about it little later. So these things, to know about people, yourself, and to know about the person around you, and how to handle your emotions at the same time, understanding other person's emotions and concept, perspectives, and how you handle it smartly. This is all about emotional intelligence. So what are the things? It helps you to guide your thoughts, emotions, at the same time to guide other person's thoughts as well, because you are aware about your things and other person's emotions, why he is angry. Something would be there, the reason would be there, right? So if you are emotionally intelligent person, you will look at it differently. And the most important thing is it help you to understand other person's thought process and guide them. At the same time, you can control the situation positively. At the same time, it helps you to create a good relationship between that other person or the group of people you are working with. And most importantly, this concept is today very useful or very used in, we can say, two domains, which are education and business. Of course, in the business environment, you all know, have a good relationship with others is very important. So that's why emotional intelligence is nowadays a famous concept. Now, let's look at the difference between EQ and IQ. IQ in the sense that intelligent quotients, we say. Emotional intelligence means EQ. So what is the difference here? Both are intelligent traits, but intelligent quotient means this is what we usually learn academic things, we say, like measuring cognitive abilities, logical reasoning, problem solving skill like math, science, English, these things, the school that we learn directly information, and from the information we learn, we should be able to comprehend, right, and answer the things and solve problem. These are the intelligent quotients, we say. So it contains analyzing, reasoning, and processing information, logical thinking, critical for tasks requiring analytical skills and technical knowledge as well. Based on early 20th century test by Alfred Binet, measures cognitive capabilities. So cognitive capabilities are things that which is mostly personal trait oriented, which means we are born with that ability to some extent. We can develop it, but most of it, like it is the personal trait. This is we are born with. We say intelligence, right? So this is what we mostly in the schools, colleges, they measure this. But people don't pay attention to EQ much because they think that this is not an important skill. But why it is important? Let's see. It measures emotional intelligence and social skills, understanding and managing emotions, both personal and in others, developed and enhanced over time through experience and learning. Essential for collaboration, leadership, and workplace harmony. Developed in 1995 by Daniel Goleman, relates to emotional development. So, even though a person is highly intelligent, but if he cannot handle a situation positively, there's no use of hiring that person for that company, isn't it? And even in families also, intelligence is we need, it's a must. We have to work on it and we can improve it. That is there. But emotional intelligence, it gives like what you say, that it gives a power for you to control yourself and other person at the same time and for a productive manner. So emotional intelligence is important for leadership, and at the same time, even in the life situations, schools, children, why people get hatred, why people get they become tired, mental stress. Everything is just because of lack of emotional intelligence. Now, let's see how these people behave differently. People with low emotional intelligence behave differently from people who have highly emotional intelligence. So, high emotional intelligence people will be assertive, ambitious, they are strong-willed, and on the other hand, low emotional people will be aggressive, demanding, bossy. Might have seen in the offices, right? So some bosses are very demanding, ordering, controlling, and they just command to do this, do that. But this way of management is now like it is the olden days things, old-fashioned way of management style or leadership style, we say. So these characteristics can be developed. And the other thing is little some people, they always warm, they have a smile on their face, enthusiastic, sociable, charming, persuasiveness. These people are highly emotional intelligent people. With that, even with that charmness, they do their work nicely, right? Get their job done. So this is also a talent, maybe underestimated the places, but it is also a talent. And then they are patient, predictable, and good listener. Most and foremost important thing, they listen to what other people say, and they are detailed, careful, and meticulous in doing work, systematic and very neat, organized, we can say. But on the other hand, the people with low emotional intelligence, they are easily distracted, listeners, impulsive and slow, sometimes stubborn, critical and picky, fussy. So these are the, so they are, that we can identify people from how they behave in a certain environment or certain situation. So if you have these kind of things, maybe we also may be part of these qualities, right? But if we can identify it, where and when I was like this, so you can learn from that experience and correct yourself and do not repeat it in other situation, right? And then most importantly, I mentioned about earlier, Daniel Goleman's EQ model he developed from the previous one. So it has 5 core components. First one is self-awareness. Second one, self-regulation. Third one, empathy. Fourth, motivation. And fifth one, social skills. Now let's look at each one by one. First one is self-awareness in the sense understanding about myself, our own self. What is my feelings? What are my emotions? What are my strengths, weakness, and what are my eager motivation things? Right? It's different to person. So, but we should be aware about my things, my feelings. How am I most of the time feeling? What type of mood I have all the time? Right? So if you aware about yourself, understand your perceptions and yourself properly, we call it self-awareness. For example, we say that you have a boss, he's very bossy or very impulsive. When he gets to know that the deadline is nearby for a project submission, so you know that in advance and you behave accordingly to prevent that incident, right? And so you act according to finish it or some other alternative methods you find out and try to solve it in advance. This is a self-awareness. You know about yourself and then you prepare for it. If you're not aware about it, and then you will be in trouble, right? So this is about self-awareness. To know yourself very well. My weakness, my strengths, my values, how I'm, according to which values I work upon. So these things we should be very clear about. And the next thing is self-regulation. If you know about your feelings, your emotions, your weakness, your strengths, you know that how to regulate it, right? Regulate in the sense how to manage it, control it. For example, we can say now you are doing some work, urgently you got some work from your authority, and you have to work on it. That is their, we can say what order, or that's their demanding for you to come work. But you might, it is normal to get angry that moment. But apart from that getting angry, what you do is you try to control yourself, calm your nerves, and work in calm and composure, even in the precious moments. So these things we say self-regulation, knowing yourself, getting angry, but you do not react or respond immediately. You try to regulate within yourself and try to handle that situation very meticulously and very constructive manner without harming yourself or putting other people in trouble. So this is called self-regulation. And the next one is empathy. This is a beautiful thing that people lack these days. If people can feel about other people, if people can feel about other person's concerns, perceivedness, so we can be more understanding. So empathy means like knowing other person's feelings and what he thinks, why he feels. Like say someone is getting angry, but it's not like he is wrong, he's getting angry, but there is a reason behind it. So if you are an emotional intelligence leader or high emotional intelligence person, you will look at it differently. You will try to give him an opportunity to say why is this, why he is getting angry. When he feels getting angry, in the sense people feel angry, or like we can say angry is the highest form of, right? We usually that when we encounter in the office places and even in the families. So why are the person getting angry? But he feels something is unfair with them, isn't it? So giving that person an opportunity to talk about it is most important. So because you understand, right? So if you put it into other words, I see you, let's say XYZ, yes, I see you, X, you are seeing this in a different way. Could you please explain in your understanding around it or your thoughts around it? So if you put it in another way, that person will feel valued and empowered, and he will be open to you, right? So this is what empathy means, to understand other person's feelings and their concerns in his, we say like living in other person's shoes, right? So feel that. So this is the empathy developed when you have this self, when you know about yourself, and when you know how to regulate it, and you feel the same with others as others around you. And then the motivation, the sense like how you motivate even the circumstances are not good, but still being resilient, even the challenges comes. Many of the people around, business people especially, they encounter the worst scenarios, like during COVID time, we can see everything was shut down. So if they think about their business, if they lose that resilience, if they don't lose their motivation, then they will feel this is finished now, this is the end of my world, like, right? But even through that time, they hold on to the hope and just stay calm and focus on their visions and visions of their company. They will survive, not without quitting, isn't it? So certain period of time, we may face challenges, but still staying into that vision, our goal, our ambition is called motivation. So sometimes we need that. At the same time, other person or people around you, your team members, maybe if you're a leader, if you're a manager in an organization, so we have to understand them first, and then we have to give them support. So we can say, for example, a person, if you are a manager, let's say, and your worker, the team member, he's not doing his work properly, or he's not submitting his things regularly, and you notice this for a few times, not only one, two or three times. Instead of shouting at him, what happened? Why are you all the time reaching late? What is the issue? Like, some people behave aggressively most of the time, not some, I can say, managers, right? But you don't have to. They think that is authority. I have to ask them like that. But if you reach him differently, like, may I know the reason? Like, I observe this is you are submitting your projects, like the deadline is now over. Now what happens? What's wrong with you? If you talk to him in a personal level, he will open up to you and he will say the reason, maybe some personal issues, family issues, so that if you recognize, identify his part, then sometimes you may be able to support him. Like, you can give him, okay, this is the reason, I will give you this deadline. So if you need any help with skills development, any training, right? Sometimes people don't open up when you are in a very aggressive manner of dealing like that. So as a team leader, a manager, it's your responsibility to understand the person and provide the necessity. So that type of things we say motivation. And the next one is social skills, in the sense, once all these it's improved, developed, that means you know well about other person, yourself, and the people around you. So that what you can do, you can develop good bonds between people, develop relationships, maybe inside your office or a work environment, or maybe the external also. Sometimes some offices need, right? The schools needs to collaborate with other schools. So if a person is highly emotional intelligence, if he has the social skill only, he can move with people, he can connect with people and understand the difference, and still they can bring positive outcome for the organization. So that part is called social skills. That is above from you and from a small group of people. Social skills means that building bridges between countries, maybe organizations, families. So this is the last one. But having said this, these are not separately one and one. We can say if you develop one, it will, other one is also interconnected and it develops. So these are the most 5 components according to Goldman's model. I hope it's clear for you. And then why emotional intelligence we know, and why emotional intelligence is important in leadership. Because I mentioned all the examples, it improves leadership and performance. When you talk from the human perspective, if you reach a person, instead of pointing out their problems, your mistakes, if you know why he is doing this, if you reach him in a manner that he will listen, he will open up. Maybe it could be family problem, it could be skill problem, isn't it? So whatever is it, if you reach in a way that give him an opportunity to talk, then he will open up so that you can guide him. This is what called leadership, right? Doing the right things. So you can support him. So the performance will automatically improve. And then fosters positive culture and teamwork. Yes, now when you are valued in an environment, your vibe is different, right? Enthusiasm develops. You work, you become honest in your workplace, and people cherish, people share their works. So it's become a positive working environment, inclusive culture, we say. So that forces teamwork, right? Otherwise, people cannot work together. They are constantly backstabbing and getting angry with each other. If you are an example as an emotional intelligent person or a leader, reach people in a human level or with emotional intelligence, then you create a culture where people feel valued and feel accountable to their work. So this is what the work ethics should be, isn't it? And the next one is facilitates conflict management. Conflict is inevitable in any organization, and we all come across with that. But how will we manage it? How will we de-escalate the tension in the conflict situation? All depends on our ability, emotional intelligence to deal with that such situation. How meticulously we understand other person, what other person is saying, trying to say, and giving him an opportunity to talk about it, right? So this is most important, crucial point, conflict management. So it helps a lot with this area. And the next one is promotes health and well-being. Yes, how many of us taking tablets for pressure and mental stress, sleepless nights? We do all this come because of stress, right? So if we are at peace at work, at home, all these things mitigate, isn't it? All this mental stress and physical health even, it becomes, low down, so you feel better. This is the magical thing we see, a very important skills to develop. Now, if you are working, how do you know what is important, why it is important, leadership, how to use and promote EQ at work. So let's say you are a leader, you want to improve it, you have learned it, what is EQ and how you can improve it, put it into practice in your workplace. First, you should know about it. Everything starts from yourself, right? So you have to start the change. So first you have to understand yourself, your emotions, identify strengths and weaknesses of yours and your team members. At the same time, defining guidelines. That means that you are giving a clear expectations. This is what as a leader I expect from you or your team leaders, team members, you can say, or your whoever the workers who works below you. So you can tell them these are the things that the transparency we see, right? Defining guidelines should be given. And if you have any issues, you can talk to me. Like when you speak like that, people understand, people hear you, people feel you are a reachable person, so that they come to you and they say, and you have to give them an opportunity to say their belief, right? Their opinion, why they are saying it. Later, you can analyze it. You may not agree to it, but give them an opportunity, right? So that is the importance. So first, if you give them the guidelines, they will, oh, these are the expectation of my manager. These are the expectation of my leader. So it's clear. So where I have to draw the line. And then also, even if you give the guidelines, they may have what? Give employees a voice and practice activities. Yes, this is what I mentioned just before. Giving them a moment giving them a moment to think, like a voice, like feedbacking, we say. You can have it in the moment of verbal. Sometimes people may not feel good with that thing, like saying in front of group of people. So you can ask them to write and give their feedback, suggestions, we say. Some companies, they have a suggestion box. So you can give them a moment to voice out their things. And you have to practice as a leader, active listening to them, why they are saying that, from which perspective they are looking at this point. Sometimes you're not aware, right? So this is a moment when you give them to talk, to express their feelings, express their opinions, they feel valued. And then think, then react and respond. Don't react immediately. So always we say that mindful pause we take, right? Do not, whatever the situation, do not react. So what you have to do, first think and then respond, right? You may not have to agree to everything. You don't have to be a very nice person, but you can say the no even in a polite way. That is emotional intelligence. And then a practical way to learn and apply this discipline is organizing mindfulness training and stress management sessions in your organization. Okay, give them occasionally, or just to give them these practices, so that everyone will come to know about self-awareness and all the components of this emotional intelligence, and they gradually develop it. And then in conclusion, I would like to say EQ is an integral part of management. It has not been recognized or much largely spoken, but still it is important, because as you can see in this picture, IQ plus EQ makes success. It's not only IQ, intelligent part, logical things, and what you learn, math, science, yeah, English, and what other subjects, social science, everything, the facts information in here, and you know how to deal with numbers and everything, statistics, everything you do nicely, computer and everything. But if you are not a person who cannot understand, who cannot control yourself first, self-awareness, and you'll be in a problem, isn't it? So you cannot control others. You cannot control situation, cannot control social societies. So here the IQ and EQ. IQ means verbal comprehensive, working memory, perceptual reasoning, and processing speed. And it should be added with EQ, self-awareness, self-regulations, and motivation, empathy, and social skills. So it balances out the success. So I would like to conclude with these few points. So this is important because it's a skill. And don't think this is like a thing that we have to be born with, but the EQ can be developed over time, and it creates agile working culture, which means a positive, inclusive working culture. Emotional intelligent people are better suited for management. So that's why nowadays all companies, organizations sought after these skills. A practical way to learn and apply this discipline is organizing mindfulness and training. And even you can practice at home, even the breathing techniques and all. It helps you to understand yourself first. What am I doing? Is it correct? Right? And then regulate yourself whenever it is necessary. Control your emotions and act appropriately to a situation, and also develop it. And then see other person, why he is acting like this, why he is behaving this way. Because some thoughts, right? Our thoughts are connected to everything. The way we behave also. Emotions, thoughts, and then actions. This is the way our human brain process things. First we emotion, feeling, and then thought, then action. So if someone is behaving abruptly or misbehaving, there's a reason behind it. So try to find out it. And I hope this is a useful presentation for you all. And thank you very much for listening. And over to you.
Thank you so much. Definitely, this is a wonderful topic, a very interesting topic. wonderful explanation, beautiful, concise. And I think we need emotional intelligence in different areas, education, business, daily life, and to interact with the persons and different cultures, a lot of things. And thank you so much once again, Coach SHIYAMA. And now I would like to leave this space in the hands of our beautiful and smart reviewer. She is Coach Shruti from India.
Thank you so much, Coach Yummy ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank sharEvery team and Rambabu sir for giving me an opportunity. Today, I would like to consider myself as most honored and privileged person to be reviewing an amazing speaker like Coach Shiyama ma'am with such an amazing topic, emotional intelligence, which is indeed the need for the hour. Now, I would like to start off saying that we all are emotional animals, right? Humans are emotional animals. So we always have an emotional roller coaster ride in terms of happy, sad, fear, anger, surprise. So we always are in terms of a journey every single day. And this the only subtle difference between humans and animals is they can't control their emotions, but on the contrary, we can. So thank you so much, ma'am, for bringing that up and letting us know how important it is to not only be intelligent, but also at the same time be emotionally intelligent. So having said that, I would like to start my review. So today ma'am set the tone of the meeting rightly by picking it up from where Vanishri ma'am left in terms of Martin Luther King. And she also spoke about how important it is to be emotionally intelligent, capable of the ability to have the understanding of how to, regulate one's own emotions. And that's how you become a great leader. Now, she also spoke about how negative things affect us in our journey in the long run. And apart from that, she also had a beautiful way of interacting with the audience, wherein she threw a question, made us suspicious when she asked us about whom was she actually referring to. So I was actually looking forward to listen to the answer, wherein Lilu ma'am answered. So a win-win situation in terms of grabbing the audience's attention. So she really aroused the curiosity and she set the table right. Initially, she had a clear agenda of what she is going to cover and what all are the things that we are going to learn through her presentation today. So we were very clear of all the points. And her presentation was very crisp and concise with apt examples, wherein she tried to relate the present scenario, the scenario that takes place in personal life as well as in professional life. And she gave apt examples, which is very understandable. And she made it very simple and very easy for us. So thank you, ma'am. Now, proceeding further in terms of the points that she mentioned, now she told us the difference between EQ and EI. Now, we all know emotional intelligence, but quotient is something which lets us measure a person's emotional intelligence. So that was good. And she also mentioned about how important it is to categorize people in terms of leadership roles. For example, ma'am clearly explained why a leader should possess a strong emotional intelligence because it not only lets the leader to lead but it also lets the leader to read people's mind, and that ability is very important to be at the top and also at the same time stay at the top. Now probably the present scenario, the situation is such that people are achieving success at a faster pace, but when it comes to being at that success point for a longer run is diminishing. The reason being they don't know how to handle their emotions. And that was clearly explained by Shiyama ma'am through all her slides, wherein she mentioned about the components of emotional intelligence, and she gave us an amazing bifurcation of what exactly is emotional quotient and what exactly is intelligence quotient. And she wonderfully told that just because if a person is intelligent doesn't mean he will be capable of being successful in his or her field. So apart from being intelligent, They also need to be emotionally intelligent, nothing but how you handle your emotions in terms of many people that will come along in our journey. So, things that I really picked up from what ma'am said was she also gave us a comparative study of how low emotional intelligence people behave and how highly emotional intelligent people behave, wherein she told about aggressive versus assertive, impatient versus patient, unpredictable versus predictable. Now, this gave us all a clear understanding of how we need to start behaving if at all we have any of these qualities that are in the low emotional intelligent category. And ma'am beautifully explained about why emotional intelligence is not just an intelligence, but it's a skill. Now, which means that if at all we are lacking in certain aspects or certain avenues in our life, then we can learn them. And that's the reason she brought that inference of why it is a skill, because it can be learned. Then slowly, she also spoke about how emotional intelligence also helps us at workplace. Now, we all are leaders. And if we take a look at the amount of people that we generally meet, I think apart from politicians, we as educators, we meet and greet a lot of people on daily basis. And for educators like us, developing the right emotional intelligence plays a very important role, which was very well portrayed and emphasized by Shiyama ma'am through her presentation. And I have made wonderful notes of what ma'am has told, which is definitely going to come a long way for me as well. So I would like to conclude my review by saying that the presentation was crisp and concise. She gave us a clear picture of all the points that she's going to come up with, so we knew what she's going to speak about. And she had relevant examples. And the last quote, which I would like to just reiterate, so emotional intelligence not only lets you to lead, but it also allows you to read. So thank you so much, ma'am, and over to the host. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Beautiful, Charity. Excellent feedback, as always. I think so. It's an honor to have you. We are very grateful for your willingness and your participation.